Welcome in, everybody. Ready for a deep dive?
Always ready.
Today, we're tackling something every business dreams of, turning those casual scrollers into die-hard fans. Building that customer journey that takes someone from, who are you, to, I'm telling everyone about you.
Music to my ears. It's the holy grail of business building.
And lucky for us, we've got some intel from Marca Branding Studio to break it down.
Ooh, they always have good stuff. What do they got for us this time?
They've laid out this whole process into 8 steps. Think of it like a roadmap to serious brand loyalty.
I love a good roadmap. Sign me up.
Okay, so step 1, according to our sources, is all about strangers.
Strangers? Well, that sounds a little shady.
Not that kind of stranger. They just mean that every customer, no matter how much they love your brand now, started out knowing absolutely nothing about you. It's obvious when you think about it.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
It's like that first meeting. You've got to make a good impression. In the business world, that's where awareness comes in.
Right, you got to get on their radar. These days, that means advertising, social media, the whole 9 yards.
It's 2024. Got to stay with the times.
Yeah.
But being seen isn't enough. You need to give people a reason to stick around, which brings us to step 2, engagement.
So it's not just about waving hello, it's about giving them a reason to come over and chat.
Exactly. Our source talks about this in terms of attention. You've got to provide real value to keep someone's attention.
Like what we're doing right now, right? Dropping those knowledge bombs.
You got it. You're giving your audience valuable insights that relate to them. That's the same whether we're talking about, say, stock tips or delicious recipes.
Speaking of which, our source uses a perfect example, Whole Foods. They've got that whole story blog where they share recipes and tips all about healthy eating. It's not just buy our groceries, it's offering something genuinely valuable to their target audience.
And that's the big takeaway here. Understand your audience and offer them something they actually want. This is true even if you're not some big digital company. Figure out what your customer likes and give it to them.
So you've got their attention, now what? How do you take it up a notch and get them invested?
That, my friend, is where step 3 comes in. Subscribers. Going from that wave to swapping numbers,
Okay, I like that analogy. So we're talking about getting them to actively participate, even in a small way.
Exactly. Like following you on social, subscribing to your emails, that kind of thing.
Which reminds me, our source was really big on the power of email. They mentioned IKEA and how they're always pushing for you to sign up for their mailing list.
Smart move. Got to hand it to them.
Speaking of IKEA, who hasn't gotten sucked into their website for like an hour planning out their dream kitchen? Or is that just me?
We've all been there. But anyway, my point is, they're not hitting you with, buy a new couch, the second you land on the page. They're nurturing that relationship, figuring out what you're into, and offering you good stuff before going in for the kill.
Which brings us to step 4, conversions. Now we're talking about turning that interest into action.
Exactly. Encourage those small, low-risk conversions from the customer's end. Think free trials, low-cost products, even just something like downloading a free guide.
It's not about making bank right away. It's about deepening the relationship.
Now you're getting it.
It's like dating. You wouldn't propose on the first date. You build that trust over time. You show them who you are, and then...
And then you wow them with that core offer. And that brings us to, well, I guess that's for our next deep dive.
Okay, so to recap. They've dipped their toes in, maybe downloaded that free guide, or sat through our awesome webinar. Now what? How do we keep that ball rolling?
Now's where you really prove your worth. They've taken that initial leap, so now it's all about exceeding their expectations. Our sources called this step 5, building excitement. You've got to solidify that trust and get them pumped about sticking around.
Okay, I can dig it. So we've charmed them with our dazzling personality on the first date. Now we got to pull out all the stops for date number 2, make them want to go steady,
You got it. But here's where I see businesses trip up. They think the hard part's over after that initial conversion, but it's actually just the beginning. This is where you nurture the relationship, show them you're not just about the quick sale.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. Relationships take time. Speaking of which, how do we actually pull out the stops?
One surefire way is to over-deliver on those promises. Remember, our source, Marca Branding Studio, they were talking about their own onboarding process for their digital marketing lab. They actually mail out these welcome packets filled with extra goodies and resources beyond what they promised.
Like a bonus round. Everyone loves bonus points.
Exactly. It's that above and beyond that solidifies that, wow, I made the right choice feeling.
It's like not only do you get a 5-star dinner, but then they hit you with that surprise dessert cart.
Precisely. You came for the steak, but you're staying for the key lime pie. It shows you care.
Okay, so they're wooed, we've blown their minds, they're excited, it's getting serious. This is where we finally bring out the core offer, right?
You know it. Step 6 is all about presenting that main event, the thing you've been building up to. This is the big leagues, the real deal.
Wouldn't it be easier to just, cut to the chase? Lead with the good stuff?
That's where so many businesses miss the mark. Think back to those dating analogies. Imagine proposing on the first date.
Bold move, and probably not going to end well.
Exactly. You need that foundation of trust, that excitement, before you present that core offer. Otherwise, it's just too much too soon.
So, to sum up, no proposals on the first date. Got it.
Write that down. But seriously, it should be a natural progression, not some aggressive sales pitch.
Makes sense. Okay, so they've taken the bait. They're officially a customer. We've hit peak customer journey, right? Time to celebrate.
Hold your horses there. Remember, we're aiming for customers for life, not just a one-time purchase.
So what's next?
This is where it gets really interesting. We're talking about turning satisfied customers into brand ambassadors.
Okay, so steps 7 and 8 are where the real magic happens. Time to unleash those marketing superpowers. Let's transform these customers into our own personal hype squad.
Now you're speaking my language. But first, we're going to talk about the difference between advocates and promoters, which is what these last steps are all about. Think of advocates as those customers who, they're happy with your brand. Maybe they recommend you to a friend if it comes up.
But they're not exactly creating fan accounts on social media.
Exactly. Now, promoters, they're your ride or dies. They tell everyone they know about you, leave glowing reviews. They're practically part of the marketing team.
Okay, so how do we make that happen? How do we inspire that level of, obsession?
You'd be surprised. It's simpler than you think. It all comes down to consistently exceeding those expectations, providing an amazing product, and building a genuine connection that isn't just about the transaction.
So like any good relationship, built on trust, good communication, showing up for each other.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Our source even mentioned Harley-Davidson. Talk about brand loyalty. People tattoo their logo on themselves.
Okay, maybe let's not aim for tattoos just yet, but I see what you mean. It's about building something people genuinely connect with, something they believe in, something they want to tell their friends about.
Now you're getting it. It's about the whole experience. It takes time and effort, but it pays off.
So we've covered a lot of ground here, from those first impressions to creating die-hard fans. But how do we actually use all of this? It's one thing to talk about it, but putting it into practice, that's a whole other story.
It can seem like a lot, but don't get overwhelmed. It's a journey, remember. Start by thinking about your own experiences. What makes you tick as a customer? What makes you come back for more?
Ooh, that's good. So put ourselves in the customer's shoes. What makes us loyal? Not as business owners, but as people.
Exactly. What makes you hit that buy now button again and again? Is it incredible customer service, feeling like you're part of a community? Maybe it's a killer rewards program?
Yeah, everyone loves a good freebie.
For sure.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, pinpoint what those brands are doing right. Figure out what makes them stand out.
And then sprinkle that magic onto our own brand. Reverse engineering brand loyalty.
Yeah, you're talking. And remember, this framework works no matter what business you're in.
So it's not just for the big guys.
Nope. Local shops, online stores, even giant corporations, the principles are the same. Know your audience, build relationships, and always over-deliver.
Music to my ears. Okay, for everyone listening, here's a little challenge for you. Grab your phone, open up those notes, and jot down a few brands you absolutely love.
Ooh, good idea.
And next to each one, write down WHY. Why do you love them? What are they doing that's so special?
And don't overthink it. It could be something as simple as them remembering your name at your local coffee shop or sending a thank you note after you buy something online.
Those little touches go a long way.
Big time. It shows they care. Okay, so now that you have your list, think about your own customer journey. Where are people first meeting your brand? What's that first impression? Are you creating those wow moments along the way?
This is making me want to go revamp my entire website.
Do it. And remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Building a solid customer base takes time. It's all about putting in the effort and creating something truly special.
Well said.
And one last thought before we wrap things up. We've been talking about getting customers to come to you, but what about going to them?
Oh, I like where you're going with this.
Meeting them where they are, chatting with them online, becoming part of their world,
Be the cool kid at their lunch table.
Exactly. It's all about forging those genuine connections and becoming a valued part of their lives, not just another transaction.
Couldn't said it better myself.
Yeah.
There you have it, folks. The roadmap to turning casual scrollers into your brand's biggest fans. Until next time, happy diving.